All right, we're going to talk about an Alliance War counter list. Now, first things first, I found this list on the new Marvel Strike Force forums. It's msfforum.com. There's no official forums, as you know, and I primarily use Reddit. But if you prefer the forum format, this was just started, I think, a month or two ago. I don't know if it's got a lot of traction yet, but I was searching on it today, and I found this MSF counter list, and it happened to be created by two people that I actually know fairly well, so that was great. Now, it's interesting. I was looking at the list, and I said, oh, I wish that this had like more of an infographic thing, and I bet you this list will get better as time goes on. And they say that at the very bottom of this counter list is like, hey, this is a work in progress. Join our Discord. There's a link to the Discord, and they're going to make this list better and better as time goes on. That being said, I just want to go over this list briefly and then talk about my experience with these specific counters and how I've been moving for Alliance Wars. For me, Alliance Wars is my favorite part of the game, and this list is set up in hard counters and soft counters. On a hard counter, means that you can punch up at least 15%, and then soft counter is within that 15%. So you can punch up quite a bit with a hard counter, and both the hard and the soft counters, they're talking about winning 9 times out of 10. Now, for me, I have certain teams that I struggle against, and for me, I often... in Blitz, like if I'm in 8-3, if I see that team, I will go after it, what I think is going to be the best counter. However, Blitz is very different than Alliance Wars. And I'm just going to give you an example. Alliance Wars, they have all those buffs and things like that. And like when I think about the node that gives my team defense down, that's a node that I like to use Brotherhood on, because I can blind the opposing team, and that kind of negates that one turn defense down. Also, some teams are faster than others, and if you can put a faster team in on that particular node, there's so many nuances is what I'm trying to say, and that's the reason why I like Alliance Wars. Let's just get into the list, and the first team they talk about on defense is Avengers, and the hard counters are Guardians and the War Vengers, so that's going to have like War Machine and Iron Man. Soft counter is going to be other Avengers and Mystic Controllers. Now, what I'm guessing they're assuming is that there's a lot of teams that can be Avengers, but probably the most efficient counter, because that's an Alliance Wars, because you're going to want to save some of your stronger teams for something else. You know, your Brotherhood's going to be used better somewhere else. Your power armor is going to be better used somewhere else. So that's kind of what this list is about, is the most efficient counter is going to be Guardians against Avengers. Now, I use most of my Guardians on defense in a Minerva team, but that's not the point. And if I wanted to, you know, I could do this matchup right here in Blitz. This is 5-3, and I could play it and I could test it, and that's the idea. Also playing on BlueStacks. There's a link in the description if you want to play on your PC or Mac. I'm sponsored by BlueStacks, but you can see right here that there's a way of testing, and when I see a team come up, I can run to this list here and practice a little bit of the Alliance Wars, because there's a couple tricks to them. Brawlers. Now, hero brawlers, I also personally use them on offense, but hard counters to brawlers is Shield, Guardians, War Avengers. Soft counters is going to be Defenders and Mystic Controllers. I haven't put my Mystic Controllers together yet. I really need to redo my Mystic Controllers and put them on a team. Now, Brotherhood, and I like what they said about this. You don't see Brotherhood on defense and Alliance Wars. I mean, because it's a hard counter to a lot of teams, specifically Shield. So pretty much everybody's saving Brotherhood for offense. But if you do come up against a Brotherhood, you can use Brotherhood to counter it, or Defenders. And the reason for Defenders is that they actually do fairly well against Brotherhood. There's ways around it. They can kind of stall a little bit. Next is Defenders. I almost always see Defenders on defense in Alliance Wars, and for me, I always go after them with my Shield team. I focus down the opposing Punisher and take it from there. But if I don't take out the Punisher, The AoE can be really horrible against a shield. So the main thing on going up against defenders is use shield, power armor as well. Now, I don't know if I've talked about this, but I think I did talk about this yesterday. Power armor is amazing. They're probably the best offensive Alliance War team, period. And later on this post, they talk about being able to punch up like 100K. I've seen screenshots. And they're also highly effective against those Minerva, Thanos, Star-Lord, Groot teams, because we'll talk about that here a little bit. Soft counters, defenders with Miss Marvel, brawlers, Mystic controllers, and Spider-Verse hybrids, and Wakanda. And Wakanda, actually, I think is going to be very important going forward, especially in the new raid. Ultima 7 is coming out. That's not related to this, but Wakanda, my good. Very good. Guardians. Boy, there are certain teams that do not do well versus Guardians, and so I would stick to this list specifically right here. Hard counters versus Guardians. It's going to be shield with the operative, power armor, which is good against almost everything, but you could also sneak Wakanda in here, and Brotherhood's good against a lot of teams. Soft counters are going to be defenders and Mystic controllers. Kree, I actually don't have a hard time with Kree, so they're saying hard counters are Warvengers, defenders, soft counters are going to be other Krees, Mystic controllers, and brawlers. Now, notice that the way this list is working is obviously there's other teams that should just blow through this, like Power Armor and Brotherhood, but they're talking about the most efficient counter to this, and this list is going to evolve. Mystic controllers, I do like this team right here, and I need to put this team together. Right now, my Loki and my Mordo is displaced, so I'm probably going to put this theme together to make a Mystic controller. I need to move my Scarlet Witch around. That's another subject. Hard counters to Mystic controllers are going to be Kree, Spider-Verse, soft counters, and I was just going to say, they're really easy to beat. I would use them on offense, actually. Now, power armor, this is no-brainer. It says save for offense if you can. Hard counters to power armor are going to be Brotherhood, Power Armor, Guardian, soft counters, Shield, Avengers, and Wakanda. And we're going to come back and talk about power armor here at the end a little bit. Shield. Every time I come up against Shield, I'm going to use my Brotherhood. They're designed to beat the Shield. That is what Brotherhood is for. And power armor works quite well here. You can also use your Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse does pretty well because of Green Goblin. You've got Guardians and Shield. And then Spider-Verse, so I don't usually see this on defense, but if you do see it on defense, you can throw Defenders and Mystic Controllers against it. Soft counter would be other Spider-Verse. Shield is not useful against this team. Now, Technerva. Now, this is the team that is the bane of Alliance Wars. It's probably, in my opinion, one of the best teams on defense. Star-Lord, Rocket, Vision, Minerva, Groot, Thanos, and/or Drax. And it has to do with the interactions with Thanos and Minerva and Groot. The Groot ones are the ones that mess me up the most. Hard counters, without a doubt, is power armor. And if I come across this team, I go out of my way to use my power armor. Now, Brotherhood can work, and Brotherhood works if they don't have Groot. There's nothing more annoying than using your Brotherhood and then having the Groot die, and then he revives himself, or Minerva revives the Groot, and then he cleanses the entire team of all the negative status effects. So just keep that in mind. I think the Brotherhood does work, absolutely, but the caveat there is Groot. I've had this matchup go bad with Groot, and it does depend. Soft counter is going to be Shield, and that's going to have to do with turn meter manipulation and just getting through the Minerva or Avengers, Guardian, Technerva. But I'm going to say it's really about power hunter. They got the notes here. Brotherhood can go sideways quick due to Drax, and I think it has to do with Groot rather than Drax, really. Ultron teams. I might have to make a separate video about Ultron teams, but pretty much the only counter to Ultron teams is going to be Brotherhood or other Ultron teams. Run, don't walk. Farm those pieces that are 72,000 in the gear store, in the supply store, so that you can get your roster up to gear 13 to go into Fear of the Darkness. Ultron is the best team in the game. Wakanda counters to Wakanda is going to be Power Armor and Brotherhood. And I think Wakanda is going to have a come up because it's an amazing raid team, has a lot of sustain, actually does fairly well on defense. Or Avengers, we've got Power Armor and Brotherhood. Now, let's talk about Power Armor, and then we're going to wrap up the video. And Power Armor can shoot up extremely high. I've personally hit up as far up as 80K. Myself, I've done like 60, 70 before, but I've seen screenshots as high as 100. And I think the biggest opportunity for Power Armor is the Tech Nerva team. You have to play it with Vision and the 4 Power Armors. It pretty much takes care of everything. As long as the rescue survives the first round, the best offensive team in war. So I'm hoping that this list gets converted into a graphic and they talk about that here. And of course, this list is going to be updated. So I hope this turns into a good resource for you. It has for me, and I'm pretty excited. All right, well, now it's time for the giveaway. I really hope you liked this video today, because if you did, you are in luck. For every single person that likes this video, you will be getting for free in your account an 8-star Power Ranger. This is not a scam. I don't know, is it just me? Just like the first time I saw a rescue, I thought that she looks just like a Power Ranger. I don't know, that's just what I thought. All right, guys, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.